Today is the day we finally got a trailer and more information about Remnant 2's third DLC, The Dark Horizon. In this highly anticipated and final DLC for Remnant 2 releasing September 24th, The Dark Horizon invites players back to the mysterious world of Narud, where you'll uncover a new location preserved in time, overrun by rogue AI and robotic enemies. The Dark Horizon is priced at $9.99 or available in the $24.99 DLC bundle, which I highly recommend, along with the Awakened King and the Forgotten Kingdom. Now, of course, with this DLC, we're going to get a whole bunch of new stuff, but a lot of that new stuff is going to be completely free to you, so we're going to go over that as well. Gunfire Games announced a whole bunch of new news about this DLC today, so we're going to go through it all, starting with the new archetype, the Warden. So of course the new DLC is going to have a brand new archetype, and the Dark Horizon is no different. This one is named the Warden, which is kind of funny because the last archetype, the Invoker, that came from the Forgotten Kingdom, I thought it really gave Warden vibes like from Elder Scrolls Online, which is more of like a tree of life flowering type of Warden, I guess. But from the sneak peek we get in the trailer, I am thinking more Prison Warden. We can see that this class is going to be similar to Engineer because we see that fully automated drone that they pop up right there. But this class looks like it's a bit more corrupt than the Engineer class. You can see that they're infected with a bit of darkness. If we slow it down here, you can see they've got a lot of black corruption going on here, which is really cool. They've also got kind of like a skirt on, I guess, or a Titan class item, I guess it's very similar to. You can see them deploying this drone up here, and then we can also see the weapons. Let's go up close. Enhance. But I'm pretty sure this weapon on the side is plasma cutter that we already have access to in Narud. And then if we go up close here and take a look at the melee weapon, it looks like a smaller version of the atom splitter with a little bit of Engineer stuff on top here. It looks really cool. I like the idea of a smaller weapon similar to the Krell axe for your melee, something like that. It'd be cool if this had a range attack as well, because that's always great for melee weapons. You can see the Warden deploy a fully automated drone here, which they do mention in the press release, saying that it can shield, heal, or attack enemies. So I think this is just going to be the Warden's skill. You're either going to choose shield, heal, or attack. And then maybe their trait is going to be some sort of skill efficiency or something that it will attack, shield, or heal at a faster rate, and then maybe that could affect the Engineer as well. It would be cool to run this Warden class alongside the Engineer to have a turret and a drone helping you out, or you could even pair the healing drone with the medic. There's a lot of different options here, so I'm excited to see what builds come out of this archetype. Of course, we're going to learn a lot more about the Warden next week when they drop the reveal trailer, so make sure to check back on this channel for a full breakdown of that trailer. We're going to go super in depth with it, and while you're here, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be bringing you all the Dark Horizon DLC secrets like we've been doing for all the previous DLCs and for the main game. I have tons of Remnant 2 videos here on the channel, so if you're looking to catch back up before the DLC drops, or if you have any questions, you can definitely leave them down in the comments below. I'll try to link out to the videos if I have relevant ones. I'm also going to be co-streaming on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter. I also have a brand new PC since the last DLC. I'm actually running a 2 PC setup now, so I will be able to stream and record at the same time, so I can bring you guys the awesome secrets videos, but I can also stream my full playthrough of the Remnant 2 DLC and a lot of my time going through the new game mode, which I'm really excited to do. So make sure you follow here so you'll be notified when I go live or post a new video. We are about 300 subs away from 60K, which is amazing, and I can't wait to dive back into Remnant 2 with all of you guys. Of course, we're going to be getting new dungeons and bosses in the Dark Horizon, but they also mentioned a new glider traversal system, which sounds really cool, but it's just going to be for this new Narud overworld. And I'm sure this is a bit about the fact that the original Narud overworld is a bit annoying to traverse because of all the fog, and it doesn't really have set boundaries. However, looking at the picture here with the new Warden class, you can kind of see little landing zones around here that could possibly be how you traverse. So you would grab onto the glider, pull one out. Maybe there's little stations along the way that you can actually use to get over to the other station. I think it's going to be one of those where you have to have a start and end point, but we'll see how it works. I'm sure this is going to add a new layer of secrets to the world, to finding these. It looks like there's a lot of verticality in this world because we've got kind of the final world boss up here. We've got this layer here, but it looks like there's a layer all the way underneath as well, including some areas over here that look like they could be doors or entrances to different dungeons. They also say in the press release that you'll be able to use this new glider traversal system to decide how you want to face off against the new world boss, which is kind of crazy and has me thinking that we're either going to be fighting at his head or his toes or something. I don't know. That sounds really crazy. I'm sure it's the regular kill and the alt kill, but we'll see when the DLC comes out. All right, let's get on to all the new free update stuff and the free stuff that you're going to be able to enjoy with this new update on September 24th. I'm sure like past DLCs, we're going to get a bunch of new items in all the other areas. So like Lost Yeisha will have other world drop items that are coming out with the new DLC. But we're also going to get a brand new game mode and a revamped fragment progression system. If you're not familiar with the current system, relic fragments slot into your relic and they upgrade as you find new ones in harder difficulties, and you can set them for different builds. So you can have healing ones, attack ones, shielding ones, etc. They're revamping the entire fragment progression system. So they're going to bring out something called prisms. Now we don't know much about prisms so far, but they're a new feature to the rebalanced fragment system and can be leveled up to grant additional stat bonuses. So it sounds like they're going to be just like fragments, but perhaps you're going to level them up in different ways, or they're going to be additional stat bonuses on top of the fragments. We'll see what happens, and I'm curious to see how you actually level these up. If it's going to be similar to the old fragment system where you just went to higher difficulty levels of the campaign and adventure, and it was based on your world difficulty and your archetype level as a whole. So it would take those two into account for dropping the upgraded relic fragments, but maybe prisms will be earned a different way. Hopefully it will be a new chase for power to add to your builds, and it will add some more replayability. All right, finally, we're going to talk about the new game mode because I know that's what you guys are all waiting for. We are getting a boss rush coming to Remnant 2 on September 24th with the Dark Horizon DLC. This is a free game mode to everybody. It's completely free. Unfortunately, it's not the fan favorite survival game mode from Remnant from the Ashes, but we are getting a boss rush that has a little bit of that round by round gameplay that survival has. So I think it may bridge the gap. I definitely think it's more involved than people see at first glance. Obviously, they're not telling us everything about it right now, so we'll have to wait and see when it comes out. But Boss Rush can be played solo or multiplayer, and you can choose from 3 difficulty options right now. Triple Threat is 3 bosses, Trial by Fire is 7 bosses, and the Gauntlet is 19 bosses. So I'm wondering if they're going to do what they did with Survival, where the first 2 bosses are going to be dungeon bosses, and then the last one will be a world boss, the third one will be a world boss, and then in the Trial by Fire, the second difficulty option, there's going to be 2 bosses, a world boss, 2 bosses, a world boss, and then the 7th one could be something like a Labyrinth or a Root Earth boss, or possibly the final boss. We did see some of that in the trailer. So you can see as they're flashing through a lot of the bosses, they do show the final boss of Remnant 2, spoiler alert, I guess. But those Root Earth bosses and the final boss could be in those higher difficulty levels. But this is what they say about the gameplay loop, that you're going to fight hordes of enemies, including an aberration, and then you're going to go up against bosses to earn exclusive drops, including weapons that you've been missing, so from those particular bosses. And I really hope and I'm crossing my fingers right now that these aberrations are going to drop corrupted shards, because it has been impossible to get all these corrupted weapons and to farm for them. The drops, even on Apocalypse difficulty, are very few and far between, and you have to keep certain enemies alive in order to get the elites to spawn, and it's just not as fun as it would be if there was like a mode for corrupted shards. Personally, that's how I feel at least. But in the higher levels, at least in the Trial by Fire and the Gauntlet, I really hope that these aberrations drop corrupted shards, because then it's going to give us a straightforward way to go farm them for all the corrupted weapons. And I would definitely use that method to get all my corrupted weapons. And you could also use the boss rush as a way to get back those original weapons. So say you bought corrupted nebula, you farmed up enough corrupted shards, you got corrupted nebula, and you wanted to go back and get nebula, but you didn't want to go all the way through the storyline up to the final boss. You could go and just play boss rush until you get that boss and get your nebula back. Now, it may be longer than just going and fighting a story, but it could be more fun to you that way, to get more corrupted shards, etc. So I think that definitely appeals to people that have gotten most of the items and want to just get these corrupted weapons, and they don't want to go back through the story time and time again. Next, they also say along the way you will earn temporary buffs during the run that grant stat bonuses and or powerful passive bonuses as well that will prove to be helpful. So as the enemies and bosses get tougher, you can choose to buff yourselves through the choices each round. You can also choose to skip, so I don't know if there's going to be a currency related to that, but this is the picture we got right here where it says select a buff. You can pick chopper +1, which means you could probably +2, +3, etc. But increases all melee damage, increases max health, reduces skill cooldown, or you can skip a buff. It's going to show your active buffs, and then buffs are temporary and last for the duration of boss rush, obviously. I don't know if this is per person, if you're in multiplayer, so you could have different roles. So maybe a healer would focus on skill cooldown, whereas a damage dealer would focus on obviously damage. Or if this is going to be for the entire team. I don't know if there's a cost to choosing these buffs. I don't know if you get more rewards if you don't choose buffs, since you can skip it, or if there's a point to skipping it. But all of this, I'm sure, will be revealed when the game mode comes out. But there's a lot of questions, but I think that this adds more of that survival feel to it, where you are effectively changing your builds from something that you could just run in the campaign. Also, the fact that they say fight hordes of enemies, including an aberration, then go up against a boss, makes it feel more survival mode to me. It makes it feel like you're going to be fighting hordes and then going up against a boss and then repeating that over and over, which sounds pretty cool. So in here it says to earn the elusive drops, including weapons that you've been missing. I thought that there was a typo and it meant exclusive drops, but I do think they mean elusive drops, the items that you've been missing that have been eluding you, including weapons. But I really hope that there are exclusive drops as well, that there are things that you can only get through boss rush mode. I can't imagine them putting out a brand new game mode and not having secrets and exclusive things that are just in that game mode. So we'll see, but I know for survival from Remnant from the Ashes, we had some cosmetics, you had some account-wide items, so I'm sure there'll be things like that that we can pick up by playing that mode. As we learn more information about the DLC and the new game modes and such, I will be sure to keep you updated here and on all my other social channels, which you can follow down below in the description. If there's anything you guys want to know or want me to cover before the DLC comes out in 2 weeks, definitely leave a comment down below. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for following the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.